So grateful to have Kristen here once again, and Lucy, and a divine wisdom that's coming through. Kristen to share with us about the March energy. Kristen is the person who I go to for numerology forecasting. She is a brilliant astronumerologist and, of course, the author in The Sacred Wisdom, in the Beyond the Shift series. I'm so impressed by your ability to just off the cuff share information that is coming through. It is an honor to share this space with you. So, Kristen, I turn it over to you.
Thanks, Pamela, for that wonderful introduction. This month coming up in March is a 4 universal energy month. It's a 1 universal energy year. So just to kind of, set the stage. So right now we've been adjusting for 3 months now into this one energy, this newness, this pioneering energy. But March is going to be the final culmination of last year. So that 9 energy year that completed a 9 year cycle, almost a decade for us, is now coming to a completion with the final eclipse of the current eclipse season that hits on March 3rd. So this is going to be a very big month again for us. It's a little less noisy than February has been, in terms of how much planetary activity has been going on. But it's still got a lot of big things happening. So let's dive in because there's a lot to talk about. And when we talk about the 1 year, it's that pioneering energy, it's the new, it's all about, lots of ideas, and there's lots of noise. And we've talked about this in previous forecasts. So there's a lot of noise going on because everybody's got all these ideas. There's also a lot of awareness arising when a 1 comes in. So we're seeing a lot of stuff being revealed in the collective news and, big stories, all kinds of stuff going on all over the world, things being exposed everywhere. And that can bring a lot of feelings of fear, instability, that sort of thing. So one of the things that we recognize in a 4 energy month is that that could be a shadow side of that 4, is to possibly get caught up in the fear and then wanting to try and control things out of that fear, or shutting down, not wanting to feel, tightening up. So that's something you want to be conscious of. And the other tip I have for you overall is, with all of that, all of the new energy coming at us and all of the new ideas and all of the new reveals, take time to just shut it off. Like, you don't have to watch the news. You don't have to go onto social media. You don't have to do those things. So don't, if it's becoming overwhelming, because the shadow side of that 1 energy year can feel overwhelming when you get too much information, too much awareness all at once. And frankly, there's a lot of things that are coming out that really, when you get down to it, aren't going to affect you day to day. Yes, we want to be aware of them because we want to be socially conscious, and that's important too. But if you're getting overwhelmed by it, you're not supporting the collective in the way that you can truly. You want to make sure that you're taking care of yourself first. And this is going to be another month where that becomes very important, because the 4 and the 1 are very physical numbers. So the physical body, again, is going to require our attention, our really disciplined self-care practices, and really the body is going to be our barometer for this month. Especially listen to digestive and nervous system cues that might be coming up, because those are going to give you a clue as to whether what you're thinking and doing is aligned or not, or if you are in alignment in that moment. If you've been out of alignment for too long, you're going to notice symptoms coming up. The theme of the month is really about stability. That's the 4. stability, and be conscious while you identify while our identities dissolve, because this is really what's happening, is this culmination of this 9-year cycle and the shift that the eclipses are currently having us in. It's shifting our identities. We're stepping into a brand new energy cycle, a brand new 9-year cycle that is changing our lives. We're changing the trajectory of our lives. There's because of the huge consciousness shift that's happening. It's big, and this is big energy. So there's a lot to stabilize here, and we're still, right now, we're talking on February 23rd, we're still in the middle of the eclipse doorway, which is the 2-week period between eclipses. It's a very powerful period. And what I suggest for those of you who are listening in a timely manner, you still have time to prepare and use this doorway before the next eclipse. So you have time between now and March 2nd to, we're just coming into, we've been gathering information in that first week. Now in this second week, it's time to take intuitively guided actions based on the information we've gathered in the previous week. That starts tomorrow, the action, which is the 24th of February. So if you're doing that, if you're working in intuitively led, soul-led guidance, and you're taking the steps that you're being guided to take, you're going to be in good shape for the eclipse that's coming on March 3rd. You'll be, well, let's talk about the eclipse separate because I don't want to dump too much on you guys. Let's just check in for a second. How are you guys feeling right now in terms of how you're experiencing the energy?
Yeah, it feels busy. And one of the things was that you mentioned was the nervous system clues. And I think that that brings in the idea of pausing a lot, just consciously throughout your day, pausing. How am I feeling in my body? And do I need to get up and go get some water or go for a walk, go be in the sunshine? So that, that is more of what I personally need to do as we enter this physicality of the 1 and the 4 and leading up to that, so that when it hits, I'm already going out for a walk every day.
Absolutely. And being grounded, right? You're saying go outside, get the sun, go for a walk outside. That grounding energy is what is going to help that nervous system. That's what's going to help the digestion, because if you're kind of floating up here or you're in the chaos and caught up in fear and anxiety and you're not grounded, that's going to make it a lot more difficult to navigate the energies, right? The more grounded we are, the more we take a pause, take a breath, do those kinds of things. That's when we can then make conscious, intelligent choices in the moment when things need pivoting.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
I'd like to invite the people on the replay to pause this video, like physically pause this video and write down how they can bring in the physicality over the next few weeks. Lucy, how about you? How are you feeling?
I really, it was interesting. I am finding myself withdrawing from a lot of the social stuff and a lot of the information stuff. I do a lot of online recurring, like in Substack. I read a lot of the posters, and I'm narrowing it way down to like maybe 1 or 2, if that much. And my son was speaking to me about fires in Kansas or something, and he goes out, and we're in Colorado, and he goes out there, and I hadn't heard anything about it because I was just so detached. But I had the feeling that if it's important, I'll hear about it. And so I heard from him, and it's like, okay, nice. But I find that I'm not absorbing the things. It's like, oh, okay, that's interesting, and then I just go on. And I just find myself very happy just to be reassured, or being reassured that if it's important, I'll hear about it. If it affects me, I'll hear about it. In the meantime, continue on. And I have a great uplifted sense that, like good things are coming, and just taking action when I need to, finishing my wood or that kind of stuff. So yeah, it's a good place I'm in.
That's great. And that's exactly the right approach to take, you know. So let me give you a little another chunk because there's so much going on. And I want to make sure I can cover as much as possible. But we're going in, so right now we're in a period of deep emotions. You may have noticed a few days ago we entered Pisces season. And I noticed right away because immediately lots more emotions, right? A lot more emotional mastery required because emotions are flaring. And we're not only that are we in Pisces season, but we're in a Pisces stellium. That's when there's multiple planets in the sign of Pisces all at the same time. So it's heightening the Pisces energy and amplifying it. And because of that, we're feeling this is where that Pisces deals with that identity dissolution. So, you know, really shifting our identities, questioning and you know, finalizing what we've been working on for the last 12 months of, you know, who am I and who am I becoming? And this is that final dissolution of the person that you were that is no longer serving, right? So it can be very emotional when this happens because there's grieving. You're grieving the old you, you're grieving your old life. You're having a lot of emotional purges coming through because a lot of stuff is being risen up to the surface that has been stuck in your body. This is physical, remember, physical body. So, you know, this is about all those emotions being kicked up as your being, entire being is being purged of all of these old emotions, old thought patterns, old ways of being that haven't been serving you, that you've been working on and you've consciously called in to shift your life around. You have intentions you've set. And that's what's happening is things are being removed, the vacuum is being created so that you have space to attract the things that you want to attract. So it's a uncomfortable process, but remember, this is for our best and highest good. This is helping us get what we want to get. And understanding that that has to do with this next eclipse that's coming too, because the eclipse is in Virgo. It's a full moon lunar eclipse in Virgo, 12 degrees, which 12 is 1 and 2. And then if you add them together, you get 3, which I love because that's so Virgo, right? Virgo's all about precision. It's about, you know, strategic plans. And it's about, you know, step 1, step 2, step 3, right? It's literally in 12 degrees. So you get the 1, 2, 3, which I just think is so cool. But this is really about this emotional culmination because you're in Pisces season. It's a Virgo eclipse. It's lunar, so it's a full moon. You know, this is finishing things. This is very emotional. It's a 7 of spades day when that eclipse hits. It's 6:34 a.m. Eastern when it peaks. And this is really about making sure that you allow the release. This is releasing stored emotional residue from 9 years. It's a lot. It's anything that you didn't consciously or the 9 helped you clear out last year. It's coming up to be released now. This is like the final culmination point. That's the good news, and it's also the challenging news because it's a big purge, right? So we take the intuitively led actions up until we get to that March 2nd point, and then we allow the surrender. We allow the purge. We allow the things to rise up. Do not try and bypass. That is what most important advice I have at this time is feel the feelings. Set aside a time in your schedule. Do not schedule yourself heavy for that day. You're going to need time to process the emotions that are coming up, and you don't want to compartmentalize and bypass and do all the things if you can help it. You know, I know life is life. It's going to be a work day week, you know, all of that. But if you can create some space for yourself to process. It will be so worth it. March 1st through 9th, we're in the spades energy of the month. And that is going to be the time when we purge, surrender, digest, right? And if you're having digestive issues, that's your body telling you that you're having difficulty digesting life. This is big stuff, guys. Like, this is not easy stuff, but we've been through harder things than this. So it's a lot coming up all at once, but you can get through it. Your body is very intelligent. It will manage it for you. Trust your body to do that and support your body in that process. Because, your liver knows how much you can actually handle to release at one time. The eclipses are helping move things along a lot quicker than would normally be happening, but you're going to be okay. It just might feel a little destabilizing in the beginning of the month because number one, we're switching energies because we're going from the 3 energy month to the 4 energy month, which is very different dynamics with those energies. And then right when we're switching those energies, boom, we get hit with this big eclipse, right? So it could feel a little destabilizing. That's why I say leave your schedule as clear as possible. Don't plan big things. Don't plan big decisions for those days if you can help it at all. Of course, there might be, things that rise up that need attention right away, but just be sure that they do. Be sure that you can't postpone the decision for even a day after the eclipse. We'll just give the energy a little bit of time to settle and we'll give you a little more space around it. So, that's what I would suggest for the eclipse itself. I'm going to just briefly go over the other, the diamonds phase before I pause and let you guys comment because there's so much to go through. So March 10th through 22nd is the diamond phase of the month. And when I'm talking about that, I'm talking about an actual deck of cards. That's the numerology system. I use the Egyptian Book of Life, which is the playing cards, and then I use Pythagorean, which is the numbers that are most commonly heard and thrown around. But when I'm talking about the diamonds, I'm talking about the actual card deck with the diamonds. There's a card assigned for each day of the month, and they are clumped into suits. So March 10th through 22nd is the diamonds phase. This is when we go through our values recalibration. We shift from that emotional purge to recalibrating our worth and our resources. This is when we review where time, energy, money, and thought are invested. So are we using it the best way possible? Because remember that Virgo eclipse is going to be asking us to review where there are inefficiencies. Virgo likes efficiency. It likes things structured. It likes things organized. It likes things clean and practical, right? So the 4 is also very practical. So it goes right along with that energy. And Mercury retrograde, mind you, is still active during this whole time. So we won't have clarity yet. But that doesn't mean you postpone making decisions. It means that any decisions or foundation you lay during this time is being done with incomplete information. So adjustments will be made later, probably in April when that 5 energy comes in. But right now, I don't want to focus on that. I just want to point out that your foundations that you're laying this month, because the 4 is a foundational number, we will need to test those foundations in April, and that is what the 5 does. So there will be changes that need to be made. Mercury retrograde is never a permanent thing. There's always adjustments that need to be made. But that doesn't mean the foundation is going to be blown up. You have the foundation you're setting now. It's just going to need to be tweaked. That's all. So it's not like postpone everything until it's over. We have Mercury retrogrades 3 to 4 times a year. If we did that, we'd never get anything done, right? So, it's good to just keep in mind, double check, if you're signing any contracts or anything, you just want them to be gone over by a professional maybe, or a second pair of eyes to catch things that you might not catch. It's a time when we might miss some details, right? Important details that, may need to be renegotiated or revisited later. That's really what that's about. It's nothing to be afraid of. It's just about learning how to navigate the energies intelligently. So I'll pause there before we go into the Pisces new moon. How are you guys feeling about everything I've shared so far?
So I just had a question about when we shift from Pisces into Virgo, is there
Mhm.
a timeline of that? What kind of day space?
We wouldn't be shifting Pisces into Virgo. We'd be
Oh,
shifting Pisces into Aries.
oh, okay.
Is that what you mean?
Yeah, where did the
Like
Virgo come in?
Virgo is the sign that the full moon lunar eclipse is in.
Oh, okay. All right.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Right. Yeah. And that is around March the 2nd. Is that right?
The eclipse is on March 3rd in the Eastern time zone.
Right. Good. No, this is so good. Mm,
6:34 a.m. I just had to find the time again. So yeah.
okay. And that's a seven of spades day, which
Yes.
spiritual
Yeah.
movement, right?
Seven of Spades is such a Virgo card, right? Seven likes to refine systems, make things better, clean things up. Virgo loves to do that. So it's a perfect card for that day.
Yeah. And this is why I have you as a guest astronumerologist.
I
Oh,
love it.
yeah. Okay. And Chrissy, do you have any
Well,
thoughts?
it's my birth month, so the 14th, so it's nine of diamonds. Yeah. And
That's
I'm
great.
learning about stuff, so it's just interesting to hear as things come along and how they impact me. Well, they always impact everybody, but I think when it's your, sign, and then it's a little more, which word, potent.
Yes, and because you are a Pisces, you will be feeling things even more deeply than
Mhm.
most. So, with all this Pisces stellium going on and everything else, it's bringing up a lot of emotional stuff for all of us, but you're naturally very emotionally based anyway, so you're going to be feeling it pretty strong. So give yourself space. But you, as a Pisces, already know that for yourself. You've been navigating this your whole life because it's who you are. So, I don't think it'll be anything earth-shattering for you in terms of the emotional level that you have to deal with. I think it's just going to be, just kind of keeping in mind that this is going to be a heightened emotional energy period for you as a Pisces.
But never mind
What's
that your book, Married Widow, is coming out that week. We're publishing.
Right.
right? And I've managed to feel so many emotions writing it and rewriting it and whatever. But what's really interesting is as I'm in my um, reflective periods or whatever, these incidents that I haven't thought about for decades come up, and I thought, oh, that's interesting. I wonder why that popped up, and I just let it go through. But quite a few, and it's like, wow, okay, I forgot all about that one.
Yeah, and
And think about it, Lucy, like you've been working on this book for over a decade now, and this energy is saying this is it. You're going to publish. Like it's so perfectly timed with this full moon lunar eclipse that's bringing a finalization to everything from the past decade, and if it came before that, right? So, I mean, really, like this is a big event for you. And this is a perfect example of how this eclipse energy can work, right? Because this is a culmination of not only finishing your book, but your book is about your relationship with your husband and his long illness and all of that. And all of that, the whole story for you is coming to a completion. So you're going to be stepping into, by finishing this book, it's so symbolic for you.
Oh,
And
yeah.
I
Yeah.
love that we're talking about this because it's giving a context to what I'm sharing. So you're completing this whole phase of your life. Like, not that you're going to forget about Dean or, anything like that, but you are coming to a completion of your story and you're going to start a brand new story moving forward now. So come April, you're going to be into a whole new phase of your life. And
Mhm.
um, that's huge.
It,
This
it
is the
really is.
kind of like
Yeah.
huge shifts I'm talking about that are occurring with this. This is a huge finalization. It's not a typical eclipse. It's not a typical full moon. There's completions, but this is completing a 9-year cycle. It's releasing a lot of karmic cycles. I mean, we're clearing some huge stuff so that we can move forward into
Mhm.
brand new lives. It's big.
It is. What I really love is the divine timing of it, because we had originally set the publication date for my husband's birthday in January.
Mhm.
And because of the formatting issues, we postponed it until this period, which I just find fascinating.
It was always going to be that way.
Yeah. Hmm.
Your mind thinks that you had a different publication date, but it was always going to be this.
Hmm.
And it was supposed to be, right?
Right. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
divine
it's
timing has
beautiful the way it works out. And
Hmm.
that's why, and you will, not just you, all of us will run into feelings of, I haven't gotten to that part yet, but feelings like things are being delayed. We want to move forward. We've got
Hmm.
this very physical energy that wants movement, but we're not going to have the clarity we need this
Hmm.
month to really finalize things the way we want to, especially when we get towards the end of the month. And I'm kind of jumping ahead a little bit here. But when we get to the end of the month and we have that Aries stellium starting to stack up, we move into Aries season, we are going to want to move forward and we're not quite ready yet. So we're going to have to show a little maturity and restraint so that we're not kind of bulldozing our way through things when we still don't have all the information. I can just say right now, I'll explain why. So we, over this past weekend, we just had a huge astrological event, the Saturn Neptune conjunction in 0 degrees Aries. It's been a very, very long time since this has happened, never in our lifetime. Um, and so this was a huge astrological event. And what's happening there is, Neptune is a very gaseous, very dreamy planet. It's the planet that rules Pisces season. So this dreamy energy, this unclear energy between all of that factoring in, plus we have eclipse energy, which always is very unclear until things settle. And we are in a Mercury retrograde period. So all of that factored in, there is not a lot of clarity right now. Where things are coming through, we're receiving awarenesses, we're receiving insights, we're receiving information, but we're not going to know exactly what to do with it clearly until April, and probably not till around April 9th. That's when Saturn Neptune conjunction Saturn starts to get away from Neptune enough where it can get some clarity. And then we can get the structure because Saturn's all about that, right? But until we get that spaciousness from that conjunction, you're just not going to have the clarity you need. So trying to bulldoze and force things is not going to get you the results you want. So that's something very important to note for this month is, and this is going to be more pronounced towards the end of the month, I feel, because of all that Aries energy coming in. Because Aries wants to go. Aries rules by Mars. Mars is very masculine. It's about movement. It's about action. It's the warrior planet, and it's going to want to do things and get stuff done. And it's not going to be quite the right time yet. I'm not saying don't take any action. I'm saying pause before you take action. Take intuitively guided, conscious, intentional action. Do not just push through. If you don't have the clarity, that means it's not time to do it yet. That's the difference. So you can take some action, but you're going to feel like you can't do as much as you want yet. And if I think for me, awareness around that helps. Knowing that that's temporary, that feeling's going to expire as soon as we get into April. And then we'll be able to really go full throttle. So just know that that's building. That's going to be one of the flavors for this month. And do you guys have comments on that before I move on?
No, it's more pausing for me, right? That's really what I'm hearing is that, and the divine timing of things, right? So being able to pause, consider what's happening, feel into my body, feel what's coming up, and then acknowledge those emotions before I move forward and really settle in.
Yes, absolutely. And just stay out of fear. Stay out of fear, stay out of anxiety. If you feel yourself creeping in, that's when you need to pause and ground. It's when you need to give your body a little more support and, give yourself some time to integrate things and all of that. It's big energy that we're navigating. So, and I say this every month, the body's always the last to catch up. You may feel ascension symptoms, aches, pains, headaches, things like that. As long as they're not chronic, um, you're probably feeling an ascension symptom, but this is not medical advice. If you feel like you need to see a professional, please do so. But there will be some physical symptoms coming up because it's just a physical month. So, this whole year, being a 1 year, is very physical. And so it's going to revolve a lot around body care and supporting the body as your vessel for your soul, right? It's
Mhm.
not something to get annoyed with or, oh, this is such a hassle or whatever. It's about honoring the body as the vessel for your soul because your body allows your soul to have experiences here on earth that you couldn't have without it. So it's, important to be grateful and to honor and to love and care for your body. And I speak from personal experience. My body requires a lot of self-care. So it can feel overwhelming sometimes. And, I have to keep bringing myself back to that. Like, hey, without the body, I couldn't, create the impact I want to create here and do all the things and have all the experiences and all of that. Even see a sunset, right? There's just things that we can do in our physical body that we can't do as a spirit. So, it's, something to be honored and I can't stress the importance of that enough this month and this year. Okay, so moving on, the Pisces new moon comes on March 18th. That's at 28 degrees Pisces. Now, if you've been tracking astrology for a while, you'll know that last year we did a flip-flop, a shift, and there was a month where there were two new moons, and so that ended up flipping when we experienced the new moon in the cycle in each sign. So we were experiencing it more toward the beginning of each sign. And now we're experiencing it toward the end of each sign. So when that happens, it's a little weird. It feels a little bit messed up backwards, right? Because it's a new moon, which is new beginnings, but you're ending a sign. You're completing the lesson of that sign. So, so this is going to go on for quite some time, this whole year. And it won't flip-flop back for a while. So we're kind of having to navigate this kind of weird energy with that. And it's got a purpose. It serves its purpose, right? Because we're getting into that mastery level of newness, of new intentions. This is also occurring on a 22 master day. So it's got that master builder energy. The 2 plus 2 equals 4, and we're in the 4 energy month. So this energy is really amplified. This is really about setting that blueprint energy for long-term dreams, right? It's also a 5 of diamonds day. So anything that we set in intention on this day is likely to change because of that 5 energy. But this is also about expansion and change in values and stretching beyond your comfort zone, getting unstuck, right? This new moon in Pisces wants to finish a cycle because remember, Pisces is the last sign of the zodiac as well. So we're finishing that cycle, moving into the new. This is setting us up for the Aries stellium and all the forward movement in April. So it's not about rigid intention setting, it's about clearing your space and expanding your worth. Yes, be intentional, absolutely, but know that those intentions, the way you're thinking about them at the time is going to shift as your values expand and change. This would be a great day to speak your expanded dream aloud. And this is about big dreams. So when I say expansion and change in values, I'm talking about dream big and then go bigger than that, right? There's nothing we can't have. There's nothing we can't do. And that's really the crux of this Pisces new moon is telling us like, dream big. The 28 degrees adds up to 10. That's the alpha and the omega. That's us and the universe working in combination together, creating anything you want. The universe wants you to have what you want. You wouldn't have the desire if it was out of alignment. So dream big and believe that you can have anything that you want. You just have to know that you're worth it, that you deserve it. You have to value yourself enough to allow yourself to receive it. And this is about speaking your expanded dream out loud on this day. That doesn't mean you have to go on social media and announce it. Pisces energy is generally very private. New moons tend to be inward. But speak it out loud, even to yourself in a mirror. You can do that to really embody your expanded dream. This is really this last exhale of the zodiac before the Aries initiation. So it's definitely preparation, right? And it's a day to really honor that. Any comments before I move on to Equinox?
This is beautiful. I'm just smiling the whole time because it just feels like being able to land into what our big dream is. And we all have them, right? Like you said, we don't have desires without it come us being able to access it,
Mm.
right? And so it's there, but it's the fear and the worry and all, all the things. It's about, I don't know, for me, reducing my time on social media so I don't see all of that stuff and just be here
Right.
with me and being able to take that time. Like, remember when we were in session together, like, I don't know, 2019, and we did the ideal day. And my ideal day meant I lived here on the beach. That was March. September 1st, I moved into this condo on the beach. That's
Yep.
how important and vital having our dreams voiced, right? To write them down, speak them, and do the things like write it, listen listen to it in your mind, and then speak it out loud. And so we're activating our whole body. Every cell in our body is excited and being lit up because this is a dream we're intended to have.
Yeah, absolutely.
And
Yeah.
I
We
love
wouldn't have the desire if we weren't intended to have it.
Yeah, so I love this so much. Lucy, any comments, words?
I'm getting to the point where starting to dream because I've been so focused on Married Widow, and that's a completion point. I really haven't started thinking big ahead of that, because I've thought of little things, but nothing like, my next, where am I going type thing. So I've got a little bit of time to start focusing on it, and switching, streams from, Married Widows almost in the bag, and just needs that final push. And I don't have to put as much focus on it as I have, because I mean, I've just concentrated my focus there.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And I love the timing of it.
Oh, yeah, perfect.
Perfect. When we talk about divine timing, oh, like for the last 2 years that we've been working together on Mary,
Right.
right? So it's the divine timing. And yeah, thank you.
And Lucy, I would suggest that on your birthday, you give yourself that space to vision and dream,
Yes. What a gift.
because,
Yeah.
or even if you can, a few days before while you're still officially in your annual Neptune.
Hmm.
And we could talk about that more if you want to do an annual forecast, which is it's a great time of year for you to do that. So if
Yeah.
you want to connect to do that, we can absolutely do that. But yeah, I would make the space because this is your time right now for that dreaming, that visioning. And, if you wait until that new moon, it's still going to be powerful, but you'll already be in your personal Mercury. And this is where understanding your annual chart and how to work with it in conjunction with the collective energy is so powerful, right? So, you can adjust the timing of things to make sense for you personally. If you just work off the collective energy, you're part of the collective, it's still going to work for you. But tweaking things when you know your personal annual cycle is so powerful.
Well,
So,
we've done it before, and
yeah,
it's a great reminder. Yeah, I think
yeah,
let's connect and get that set up.
absolutely. Yeah, we can definitely do that. So let's dive
Thank you.
into the spring equinox. So March 20th is the spring equinox this year. 10:46 a.m. is when it peaks in Eastern time, and it's a Three of Diamonds day. The sun enters 0 degrees Aries. It's an astrological new year. The Mercury stations direct the same day. So this is when Mercury retrograde comes to a completion, stations direct. The shadow won't clear till April 9th, which is the other reason I put out April 9th as a clarity point in April. This is not a day for forced clarity, rushed decisions, lots of action. This is a sacred reset day. It's the day when light and dark are equal and it's like a tuning fork recalibration, right? It's really a vibrational reset, a vibrational recalibration. It's a time to pause, to let the mind and body and spirit realign before you start taking action. So it's a really beautiful day. It's 2 days after that new moon. It's really I love this timing. You just need to set aside space for yourself as much as you possibly can on both of these days to really work with the energy as much as possible. March 23rd through 31st is the club's phase of the month. This is mental mobilization. It's the Aries stellium is going to be building. It's initiation into aligned life purpose. It's an ignition phase, but not a rocket launch like I was talking about before. You might feel impatience rising and your ego might want some immediate results, but this is really more about strategizing and planning and organizing ideas. And then the more forward motion after April 9th, when that Mercury shadow clears and Saturn's got some distance from Neptune, is really going to be when things really fall into place and you feel like, okay, now I'm really clear. I know what I want to take action on, and I'm moving. It's, jumping forward, making the changes, whatever. We'll talk about that for April. But for now, this is kind of how this club's energy is going to feel. And overall, just in summary, here's kind of the narrative flow for March. So early month is going to be the emotional purging and spiritual reckoning. The mid-month is going to be about expanding worth and resetting your values. Equinox is going to be that sacred recalibration, the pause before acting. And then also just to note that that new moon indicates the end of the eclipse season. So that new moon indicates that end of that post-eclipse season that follows the eclipse on March 3rd. So between March 3rd and that new moon on the 18th, that's when you have like 2 weeks to wrap up any eclipse residual business. And then late month, we initiate purpose with intention, not urgency. That really conscious, intentional, soul-led actions. And the whole month is really about embodied beginnings and dramatic declarations. This is a new life we're stepping into, and we are going to be completely a different person by the time we come out of this year. I mean, really different. And yet we'll still have 8 more years in our cycle to go. But the intentions we're setting, the world's going to be a very different place. We're already making some big decisions and big changes this year, and it will be very noticeable, both personally and collectively. So that's where we're headed. How do you guys feel?
I feel like I'm already stepping into this higher version of myself.
Mhm.
Just there, after because and I talk about this often, that I had 9 seasons of being in 9 energy, which is 27 years in a row.
Yeah.
And and I wish I had have known numerology and known you then. I mean, I met you just at sort of the tail end of that. But when the 9 comes up again, like I feel it intensely because I've spent so much of like that is like half my life, like
Mhm.
half my life, no, less than half my life, as I go along. But I feel it, and it just is like, so last year was like this intense year of really trying to step into who I am, what I want to do in my business, and really making some shifts, but they didn't come until the end of the year and the beginning of this year. And now we're doing sessions like this where, I'm bringing in the people who, have the wisdom that I want to share out into the world, right? So, but yeah, I really feel like I'm rising up into that and doing the work of future envisioning and really setting my intentions, and I'm so looking forward to journaling this month and bringing clarity in that space on, I'm going to say, the 22nd of March, where it's like just, I'm going to block that. I don't even know what day of the week it is, but I'm going to block so much time that day to be able to just go for a long walk on the beach and journal and do the inner work that I know is so vital to our growth this year and all the time. Lucy, how about you? Thank you for asking, Kristen. This has been beautiful.
Of course.
Well, after 15 years of going through so many iterations of, pausing to find clarity in Married Widow, I mean, everything on my mind, even if I wasn't acting, and stepping forward with it, it was like marinating in my brain. So now, with this final effort, I just feel very complete, that this is really done, just like you said, if it's, it's done out there, and then, it comes and manifests. So I'm at that point. And in thinking ahead, it's like, okay, I'm complete. And I just feel, and maybe the snake analogy isn't the right one, maybe it's the cocoon, but I just feel like I'm shedding what's done, and I'm still, just emerging and wide open to what's possible, but not exactly knowing, what's coming. which is so different from when Dean had his brain injury and our world changed and we didn't know what was coming. And it was a completely different feeling where it was all compressed. We're saving what we have. Now I'm just like expanding to, okay, I'm ready.
Yeah, you went from a restrictive experience to an expansive one.
Yes.
Very beautiful the way you described that.
And
Yeah.
it's nice to have had that. It wasn't a blessing at the time, but having lived through it, it was like, wow, completely different feeling. I'm not worried about not having any markers along the way or whatever. It's like I've traversed the other piece and I'm ready to go forward again.
It's beautiful. It's absolutely beautiful. And it will be a completely different experience for you going forward. And you're going to be at this place where you can create anything you want. And it's kind of like almost daunting, but also extremely exciting, right?
It's beautiful.
And the fear isn't there. It's like,
That's beautiful.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I love that there's not fear around that, Yeah.
Yeah, I think Lucy, you've settled into this beautiful expansion into who you are and not having the limitations that have held you back before. And now it's like what's possible. It's like whatever you decide is possible, right? And what it is that you desire and feeling into those new desires that are bubbling up and being able to just be open to those. Like, I love this so much. I love this conversation. And Kristen, any final words? I just want to thank you so much for being available to do these monthly calls with us. So beautiful.
Yeah, it's my pleasure. I really enjoy doing them, and I'm grateful for the opportunity to be of service in this way. And I hope that, it reaches all the people it needs to reach so that it can be of the most support to everyone.
And how can people, we'll post it up on your YouTube channel. And so that is under your name and Kristen Vallis. And if people have questions, want to reach out, is that the best place for them to message you through?
Can you get messages on YouTube? Is that a new thing?
They can leave a comment.
Oh, they can leave a comment, sure. If they want to message me privately, they can pop over to my Instagram or my Facebook, which is under my name as well. Or my TikTok is under Wisdom of the Numbers.
Okay.
So you can message me in any of those places and I'll be happy to respond.
Yeah.
So.
And